Welcome back, my beautiful, beautiful souls. I'm so honored to have you here. So, this is Shadow Work Sunday, a space where I share what I'm actually working through in real time as a guide. So, you know, you're not the only one doing this work, and you can pull whatever pieces support your own journey. Now, before we get into it, quick trigger warning. I am going to be talking about some heavy topics, including feeling unsafe, authority energies, nervous system responses, and the way past trauma with systems like police or courts can get activated. So, if that is a subject that is tender for you, please take care of yourself, pause if you need to, and only listen as far as it feels right. And as always, take what resonates, leave the rest, and always use your own discernment and intuition. You are your own best guide. Okay, so this week I want to talk about what it's like to be healing physically, although we're all healing in the other sense, right? And still feel unsafe where you live. Not as a metaphor, but literally feeling watched and disrespected in your own space while your body is trying to recover. As some of you know, I'm still in a healing window physically. My body is finally starting to feel better. I'm starting to feel more myself, and I am so, so, so grateful for that. But at the same time, there's a lot of uncertainty in my life right now. I do not know exactly where we're going to move next, or how that move is going to happen, or what the freaking timeline is, okay? Layer that uncertainty that already exists on top of, a landlord situation that's felt more like surveillance than support. And my nervous system has just been on high alert. Okay. So for me, this is what it looks like: random presence around the house, energy of eyes on us, not checking in like genuine care, just feel the feeling of being monitored, which is not paranoia. I won't go too far into it, but just on some very obviously unprofessional, to say the least, and harassing behaviors. Okay. So now when I hear the doorbell or a knock or even a car slowing down outside, my whole body braces. My shoulders go up, I tense, my stomach tightens, my mind starts running scenarios, and I'm checking cameras. Okay. And it hits even harder because of the timing, when you're post op, vulnerable, still dealing with pain and other issues. People still don't respect your boundaries that you have clearly communicated. That's a different kind of violation, okay? And it's not just a housing issue. It woke up for me every memory of not being safe in my own home, in my own body, or around people who had some sort of power or authority over my life. But this isn't about me and necessarily this scenario as much as it is about how we process this. So let's get into it. If you have history with authority in any form, this probably sounds familiar to you. Police, courts, landlords, social workers, bosses, immigration, any sort of system that could flip your world with one decision. Okay. Now, on paper, I can say I'm not doing anything wrong, right? But my body is not responding to paperwork. My body, my nervous system, my mind is responding to history, right? Past trauma. And that is where shadow work lives. At least for me this week. It has been about not gaslighting myself by saying that I'm overreacting, that I need to calm down, that it's not that serious. It has been acknowledging that my reaction is coming from all the times authority was not safe in my life. And I have been noticing just how quickly I go into scanning and anticipating and ready for defense mode even before the doorbell actually rings. And I'm calling this survival mode light. For a lot of us, survival mode is not always full-blown crisis, right? Sometimes it's that low hum underneath everything. So even when nothing's going on, it's that energy is still present. Always listening for the next blow, text, call, knock, whatever it is. Always waiting for that email, and the day that your world gets turned upside down or something gets taken away, whatever that may be. And on the outside, things may look calmer. You might be doing your healing work, you might be more conscious than you've ever been, but the second someone with perceived power over your stability shows up, the whole system snaps back into survival mode, right? And that's that human part of us living here on Earth. And that's where I've been sitting. And then there's the surrender part. Okay. So for me this week, surrender has not meant, of course, pretending that I feel peaceful 24/7. It has not meant pretending I'm not scared or not angry or not harassed. Okay. It has sounded more like, I do not know where we are moving next. I do not know exactly how we are going to move. I do not know every detail and how it's going to work out. What I do know, we can't stay here. Okay. And at the same time, I'm refusing to abandon myself to keep other people comfortable. I cannot control whether someone decides to weaponize their position. I cannot control whether a landlord or a neighbor or a system chooses to be fair. What I can control is whether I betray myself just to avoid conflict or to avoid being seen as difficult or to avoid someone, picking up the phone and calling an authority and, just making everything worse. And right now, let's be real, in the world we're living in, picking up the phone and calling an authority does not necessarily make someone feel safe, right? So a big part of my shadow work this week has been reminding myself I'm allowed to be in transition and still deserve safety. I am allowed to be healing and still have boundaries. I'm allowed to need help and still have boundaries. I'm allowed to say, this is not okay, even if it risks someone disliking me. We're way beyond that, by the way, spreading rumors, or even wanting me gone for whatever reason, right? And so I want to give you a few questions that you can sit with if any of this is landing. You can journal them, pause and reflect, or just let them echo in the back of your mind this week, whatever you feel called to do. So, the first one, where in your life do you feel watched or monitored right now instead of supported? When you hear a doorbell, a knock, or you get a message from someone who has power over you, what happens in your body first before your brain starts explaining it in a way? So, for example, for me, it was my stomach. I noticed I felt everything in my stomach and my gut, okay? And does that reaction belong only to this situation? Or does it feel like it belongs to younger versions of you who learned that authority was dangerous or unpredictable? And if you believed your healing mattered as much as your housing, your job, or other people's comfort, what boundary would you set or reinforce right now? Okay, now those are some big questions, and you can go as deep as you want with them. The way I like to do this, and I am planning on doing kind of an extended where I show you guys all of this. So I'm still figuring those pieces out. Almost like maybe aging myself here, but back in the day when you would like brainstorm on paper. Does anybody still do this? Or is it just me? So like, you start with one question and it'll lead you to other things, whether it be why or what do I feel, whatever it is. And you kind of just branch out. I do this with shadow work. So if that helps someone, that's just what works for me. Okay. Now, if you want, you can put a hand on your heart or on your belly, wherever it is you're feeling in your body, this tenseness or whatever, when it comes up, while you explore those questions, and just let your body answer instead of trying to get all the perfect words, because sometimes nothing's perfect, but sometimes there are no words, right? You just know what you feel. And I want to close this out with an affirmation and then a channeled message that came through specifically around this theme, per usual, right? Our usual routine. So affirm this with me and out loud if you can. If not, you can, do it in your mind. I call my power back from every person and every system that made me feel unsafe in my own home or my own body. I honor what my nervous system remembers, but I am not living under those rules anymore. I'm allowed to heal. I'm allowed to rest. I'm allowed to set boundaries even when other people do not like them. I may not know exactly how this will work out yet, but I'm willing to be guided toward a safer, more aligned home, inside and out. Then take a deep breath. And here's the message that came through from Spirit. You are not wrong for feeling on edge when the doorbell rings. You're not dramatic for flinching when someone with power over your stability appears. Your body remembers the times when one decision, one signature, one lie, or one call could change everything. That memory is not weakness. It is evidence that you survived. We are not asking you to pretend you feel safe. We are asking you to stay with yourself when you do not. Each time you place a hand on your heart and say, I see you, I am not leaving you, you rewrite the story that you must face authority alone. Those who watch you from a place of control do not define your future. They do not decide your worth, your destiny, or your safety in the long run. We are already guiding you towards spaces and people who match the truth of who you are now, not the fear of who you had to be before. Your work in this moment is simple and sacred. Do not abandon yourself to keep temporary peace. Stand with yourself, even when your voice shakes. You are seen, and not only by those looking in from the outside. You are seen by us, and we stand at your side. Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And I hope that hit you as much as it did me, because I'm even shaking right now. And it really, see, happening again. I got emotional when that came through, and just saying it to you now got me emotional as well. So if this resonated with you, remember please to like and subscribe to support our sanctuary and to help this reach the people who need it. Sending you light, love, and healing, and I hope this helps.